This tutorial series will comprise of a number of videos which will introduce programming in a very simple and novel approach. It will utilize a number of different programming languages based on their strengths and simplicities to gradually demonstrate the concepts of programming. It has been engineered for fun and easy learning. In each video, we'll develop fully functional programs together with simple step-by-step instructions. By the end of the series, we'll even develop an interactive mobile application. Hello and welcome to my video. I am Syed and I am a programmer. I live in sunny Singapore and I have been programming for over 40 years now. This was my very first computer way back in 1981. Believe it or not, I still have it and it still works. I started with the basic programming language, but I have since programmed in all these languages and more. Over the years, I have developed a ton of apps and applications for various industries on all these platforms and others as well. Needless to say, programming is a passion. So, I thought that I'd share some of this knowledge. Before I continue, in case you're wondering, the term cyberage that is plastered all over this video is simply the handle which I use for my online and social media channels. It is a concatenation of two letters of my first and second names, Syed and Ibrahim, suffixed with the word age. The result is homonymously equivalent to the word cyber age. That's me trying to be clever. Now, let's get started. Firstly, what is programming exactly? Well, it's simply instructions given to a computer to do something. Essentially, programming is the knowledge on how to give these instructions to the computer. And it's not difficult at all, trust me. We don't need to know binary, we won't need complex mathematics, and we don't even need to learn all the programming terminologies. It's all done with simple English. Yes, English. Because most programming languages implement English terms for their commands. And the good news is that there is only a handful of these commands that is required in order to develop full-blown apps and applications. Also, I'm not going to bore you with the irrelevant aspects of programming fundamentals, but rather, we're going to dive right into some actual hands-on coding. We'll definitely address the technical stuff, but we'll do it progressively and in practical context, way down the line. For now, we'll focus on doing and leave the technical aspects on a need-to-know basis. There are many programming languages available today, but here we'll start with JavaScript. However, this is not a JavaScript tutorial. We are using it for its simplicity and convenience to kick off the series. It will demonstrate the basic concepts of programming and show how easy programming can really be. With each subsequent video, we'll switch things around and use different programming languages. Usually, programming requires dedicated tools that help with the process. These are known as Integrated Development Environments or IDEs. But these would have to be downloaded and installed and then configured before they can be used. A little tiresome, so let's keep it simple. We'll not bother with them for now and simply use the text editors built into Windows and Macs. Any plain text editor will do, so feel free to follow with the one of your choice. Let's launch those text editors and we'll begin. For text edit on the Mac, we must set the file as a plain text document. This is done either through the Format menu at the top or by simply pressing the Shift, Command and T keys together. This is not required for Windows Notepad. If done correctly, the formatting bar at the top of the window should disappear and the title should have a TXT extension. Once that's done, we'll give the file a name by pressing these key combinations or through the file menus. For convenience, let's save the file to the desktop and name it mycode.html. In Windows Notepad, make sure to select all files under the Save As Type field. This will save it as a plain text document, In Text Edit on the Mac, do the same by selecting the desktop location and name the file mycode.html. Make sure that the plain text encoding is set to Unicode. Since we have named the file with the HTML extension, the TXT extension will not be used. Let's start coding. Type these lines into the text editor. These are JavaScript commands, and I'll explain them shortly. For now, let's just save the file again. As before, simply use these key combinations, but this time the file will be saved without any prompt or dialog. Once that is done, open up the Windows File Explorer or the Mac's Finder and navigate to your code file on the desktop. Simply double-click on the file and your program should run. This is how your first program should look in Safari on the Mac. And here's how it would look in the Brave browser and in the Chrome browser on Windows. Well done! You've written your very first computer program. In case it doesn't work as expected, follow these steps. HTML code files should automatically launch the default web browsers when they are selected or double-clicked. If for some reason no default browser has been set, simply right-click on the file and select the Open With option from the context menu and select one of the installed browsers. Finally, if all else fails, download my code files from the links provided in the description section of this video. There's also a link to a page named JS Check, which will detect if the JavaScript option on your browser is enabled. If it's not, follow the instructions given on that page. It should resolve any issues. Now, let's get back to the code. What did we do? Before I continue, please remember that it's not important to commit anything to memory for now. We're just running simple exercises to demonstrate how programming works. Just follow along and enjoy the ride. Well, this is an HTML code file which is executed by web browsers. HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language, as the name implies, is a markup language, meaning that it uses special tags to format and execute the code. One such tag is the script tag. The browser will treat lines between these tags as JavaScript program code. Lines outside script tags are treated simply as textual content, but we'll come to that a little later. The alert keyword is a JavaScript command that instructs the browser to display a window with some message to alert the user of something, just as the command name implies. Here, we are displaying the Hello World text. That's all. Quite simple, isn't it? Keywords are reserved by the programming language to be used as part of their instructional command set. Also, notice that the line is terminated with a semicolon. In most programming languages, the semicolon signifies the end of one line of instruction. Anything after a semicolon will be treated as a new instruction. The Hello World text that is being displayed has been hard-coded into the program. Hard-coded data is known as static data, meaning that it does not change during the life of the program. On the other hand, dynamic data, as the term implies, is changeable. Let's try the program again, this time with some dynamic data. First, let's add another line to the code. We are adding a variable to the code and assigning it some value. A variable is simply a label that points to an address in the computer's memory. We use variables to quickly and easily locate program data that we have stored in the computer's memory. Here, the name of the variable is name, and the value assigned to the variable is my name, Syed. You could just use your own name to make it more interesting. Next, we'll modify the text inside the alert command a little, like this. Remove the word world from inside the quotes but leave the comma and the space after the word hello, and make sure not to remove the closing quotes either. That's very important. Then we'll add a plus symbol followed by the name label inside the brackets of the alert command. The code should now look like this. Now save the file again and let's run it as before to see the results. Notice that it now displays Hello Syed, or whatever name you had assigned to the variable, instead of Hello World as before. What did we do here? We simply appended some text into the alert command by adding it dynamically with the use of a variable. That's all. So far, so good. Just under 10 minutes and you've written 2 programs. That's awesome. However, the program only performs output functions since it only displays the information we had hard-coded into it. Besides the hard-coded data, it is not taking any other input from the user. So let's request some input from the user. To do this, we'll replace the hard-coded variable value with the prompt command. The prompt command will essentially prompt the user for some input. The value inside the brackets of the prompt command is the question that will be prompted to the user. Here, we are asking for the user's name. Whatever the user inputs will be assigned to the name variable and subsequently displayed by the alert command. This is dynamic input. Once again, don't worry about fully understanding the code for now. Always remember that rewind is your friend. Let's save the file and run it again to see the results. Now, it asks the question that we had hard-coded. What's your name? Let's type in our full names to demonstrate that it actually takes in our input. When I press the OK button, it accepts my input and displays my full name with the alert command, just as we had coded. Great job! We've coded a fully functional input-output program. In just a few minutes, we have developed a fully interactive application, simple as it may be. But simplicity is the very point of these tutorials. Let's proceed to spruce up our little program and get the computer to do a little computing. So far, we've been doing most of the work, and the computer has simply been regurgitating our hard-coded and dynamic inputs. Now, we'll instruct it to perform some simple calculations. It's a computer after all. Since we are dealing with the user, let's get a little more information from them. We'll add another prompt, this time asking the user's year of birth. That should be quite straightforward. It's a simple matter of copying the first prompt. Make a new line just below the current line and paste the prompt command here. The code should then look like this. Next, we'll change the prompt question to ask for the user's year of birth. But notice that the prompt is still being assigned to the same variable labeled name. Let's change this to some other label. Since we are asking for the user's year of birth, perhaps we'll assign it to a variable named YOB, year of birth. Now, instead of simply repeating the input value back to the user, as we had done earlier with their name, we'll perform some calculation on it. For this exercise, we would like to determine the user's age. But in order to do that, we must also have the current year. Next, let's add another new line and insert this line of instruction. The date command is actually a built-in JavaScript function that extracts the current year from the computer's internal calendar. A function is a block of code that performs some tasks. They could require some input and could also provide some output, but not necessarily. It is contained in an object that can be reused as required. Here, the year is being assigned to the variable labeled year. To determine the user's age, we'll simply subtract the given birth year from the current year. Add another new line and type in this code. It assigns a variable labeled age with the calculated value. Finally, will display the results to the user with another alert command like so. Remember, for your convenience, the full code listings can be downloaded from the links in the description section of this video. Save and run it again, and there you go. Now it asks you for your name, then your year of birth, and finally greets you telling you your age. Congratulations! We have developed a real, albeit simple, computer program. In the next video, we will raise the bar a little by moving away from the plain text editors and using a real programming IDE. Instead of running our programs inside a web browser, we will run them on the actual computer. Don't worry though, I'll continue to keep it short and simple. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, please do hit the like and subscribe buttons and share this video. Also, if you'd like to know when new videos are released, please also click on the notification bell icon. Last but not least, if you found my work useful, please do buy me a coffee through the links in the description. It will go a long way. Thank you for watching.